Hi, my name is Maggie, and I'll be talking today about malaria and diabetes in our readings and video. So first I want to talk about the Nasungwa Sabiti study that focused on Uganda, where malaria is one of the leading causes of death. There, the health systems are weak, and children are mostly treated at home by caretakers. Home-based fever management, or HBM, is present in Uganda for all febrile illnesses. Homopacks are 3-day treatments that are provided and distributed free of cost for caretakers who take care of children under 5 who have febrile illnesses. The study focused on the Kasese district in western Uganda and their understanding and treatment practices of malaria there. Focus group discussions were used to capture perspectives of febrile illnesses. So fever in the Kasese district was referred to as omotsutsa and is easy to recognize by both mothers, fathers, and caretakers alike, but there is variation in which the type of fever is defined. There were 6 major ailments that all included fever as a symptom. The combination of symptoms indicated a labeling of a locally identified illness. Immediate action was always taken if a child was sick or had a fever, but which treatment caretakers used depended on the other symptoms that were perceived. Caretakers treated certain illnesses with herbs and others with Western medications. It depended. In their discussion, the researchers found that all of the local febrile illness classifications could contain symptoms of malaria, but only one of the local classifications, called fever of the mosquito, was seen by caretakers to use anti-malarial medication. So the HBM strategy that was implemented in Uganda sounds like a good idea in concept, but it does not recognize the local illness classifications and how caretakers go about treatment. It called to provide anti-malarial medications for all febrile illnesses. I think this study ties back to our knowledge of etic versus emic perspectives, where etic is the perspective of an outsider looking in on a culture, and emic is a perspective that focuses on the culture in itself. The HBM approach takes an etic perspectives and doesn't consider the cultural classifications of illness, and concepts of illness differ between biomedical and local classifications, and thus they must be recognized. Related to this study is the Adongo et al. Study that focuses on malaria in the Katsina, Nakana, and Bolsa districts in northern Ghana. The health facilities here are also poor, and focus group discussions, in-depth interviews, and surveys were used to understand perceived causes, knowledge, treatment, and prevention of malaria among a wide group of individuals who either had used, or have not used bed nets for prevention of malaria. However, the majority of individuals in the Katsina, Nakana, and Bolsa districts recognized that mosquitoes were the cause of malaria, and the main symptom that was reported by the individuals here for malaria was hot body. The term pua in these areas is translated by health workers as malaria, but the term pua to the local individuals refers to any febrile illness, and there were 2 main types of local pua, just depended on the symptoms once again, depending on which one you had. Malaria fever is diagnosed with an individual having hot body or fever and yellow vomit. So treatment is given due to affordability and signs of improvement. So you may not receive medication if you cannot afford it, and if you show improvement, medication, you might stop taking medication. Fever and pua are usually treated at home and then possibly treated at the hospital if symptoms ensue, but oftentimes the hospitals are very costly or they're very far away, so they may be hard to get to. PUA or fever can also develop into convulsions or anemia, which is recognized by these communities as serious conditions. In their discussion, the researchers noted that PUA corresponds with the biomedical term malaria, but fever is used to describe biomedical malaria in the health system. So there is no agreement among the local and health communities on a definition or word for malaria, which is a huge problem. The study also suggests that if local people only think in terms of PUA or fever, mosquitoes will only be seen as a nuisance, not a cause of malaria, and thus bed nets will be used less. So I found many similarities between this study and the previous due to the lack of understanding of malaria between health workers and local individuals. There is a miscommunication of malaria, PUA, and fever among these groups. Once again, the concepts of illness and causes differ among the medical professionals and local individuals. So how do we solve these disparities while also having an emic perspective that focuses on the culture, their perceived causes, their classifications of illness, and having awareness of their culture in general to help prevent malaria in these communities. Next, we transfer over into diabetes, where we watched a 30-minute film called Bad Sugar, that explored the native tribes of the Tohono O'odham and the Pima and their experiences with colonization, diabetes, and poverty. The Tohono O'odham tribe has the highest rate of type 2 diabetes in the world. In Pima, the water from the Gila River was diverted, dams were created, and because of this, the agricultural economy depleted there, while cases of diabetes soared. Prior to the colonization and genocide of Native Americans, both tribes lived self-sufficiently and were healthy. Diabetes has become a trend that is almost inevitable for these individuals. It is important to note that one of the leading causes for diabetes and poor health in general is living in poverty. Dr. Donald Warren notes that if stress remains high, glucose is constantly released into the bloodstream, and oftentimes stress comes with low income and living in poverty. In the film, they note that wealth is a pretty good determinant of how healthy you will be. The social structures we are all a part of influence how healthy our lives are. Epidemiologist S. Leonard Syme says that we are not paying enough attention to prevention. While this is true and could help in the long run, with prevention, I think we must also go about dismantling the systems that keep people in poverty, that classify and structure individuals into a hierarchy. Who you are and how much you make should not determine how healthy you're going to be. As we see prior to the colonization of these Native Americans, they were very healthy, and afterwards they were not. And also, they were placed in low income and poverty-ridden areas that led to their depleted health. Thank you.